Alright, welcome to the video. We are at Cow Creek Farm. We're going to see the Highland cows at 9 o'clock. And we're also going to do a race video of Chattanooga, Florida. So let's check out these cows. We're kind of mixing a little Saturday adventure with a race recap. So let's go.
Well done! What kind of horse? I get this one. Participation stickers. So, yes, a wild horse, non-domesticated horse, originally from the wild, absolutely. Now, Mustangs here in the United States have a really unique place. They're a very interesting animal. So technically here in the US they are a protected animal, while at the same time they're not. It's great, it's a bit of a fun one that we play. It really only seems to apply when it's convenient. So the reason we consider them to be protected is because of their significance throughout our history. So if we look back when we first started colonizing the United States, we did bring some horses, but we needed more to continue colonizing and continue achieving our manifest destiny. So we started looking towards the Mustangs. So we started rounding them up, training them, breeding them, started brokering trade deals with Native American tribes and getting more and more Mustangs and getting them set up for our needs. Now, what's really cool about the Mustangs, you can actually go through the herds all over the United States and pick out some pretty significant bloodlines. If you look back through their ancestry, you can see which ones were trained and raised by the Native American tribes. So that lineage has continued down through. As an example, I got to meet a lady that has the last Cherokee tribe mare in existence. So that is the only breeding female from that bloodline, the only one that can carry that on. No pressure. Oh, buddy. My son Jericho, another wild animal. He does bite, so. But so you guys heard a little bit about these guys now. Y'all expect them to be taken care of pretty well then? Yeah, a little bit. That's kind of where it gets a little funky. So brings up a good question. How do you take care of a wild animal? Anybody? Leave it alone. Leave it alone, right? Typically, the best way to go, leave it alone. Protect their habitat if you have to get that far into it, but leave it alone. The problem with the Mustangs is we've been pretty heavy-handed as far as maintenance. We intervened a long time ago, started regulating where they could go, how many there are, where they're allowed to be, for how long. So pretty heavy-handed. Now, typically we find these guys on what are called the BLM lands, that is the Bureau of Land Management. They're federal lands that are set aside for the people and animals like the Mustangs. Problem is, government land doesn't really make any money, so they're trying to find little bits of ways around it. So typically through leasing. So the biggest problem for the Mustangs right now is access to resources. So their ability to graze correctly and enough, that's what's really being impeded. They're not able to eat as much as they should be. So they're competing with other Mustangs and other indigenous animals, so it's kind of a weird one. Now, how do we help them out? So believe it or not, one of the biggest ways is actually become adoption and domestication. So through these adoptions, yes, you are taking them out of the wild, but ultimately there's a lot of benefits to it. One of the biggest ones being that they're actually able to eat as much as they should be. So they're reaching their full potential, they're getting those key nutrients that they're lacking, but you're also preventing them from being euthanized. Because they do euthanize a certain number of Mustangs every year. That's to help maintain the population and the manageable number, reduce how many there are in the wild, and get rid of certain diseases that can pop up as well. But similar result with the adoptions. With these adoptions, they have different competitions and challenges and events that are used to draw people in and raise awareness for them. And one of my favorites being the Tip Challenge. That is a trainer incentive program. My wife Jess in the silo over there, she did what's called a 100-day Tip Challenge. And that was Radar, the elusive Mustang. Way over there! Radar! He's very well trained. Radar was originally born in Utah and was rounded up in the Badlands, Wyoming. He was rounded up with about 200 other wild Mustangs, and that was with the intention on using those Mustangs for a tip challenge. So every time they host one of the challenges, they pick a different herd from a different place all over the United States. So for this one, it happened to be in the Badlands, Wyoming. So when they round them up, they put them in the trailers and they haul them to the state of the competition. So for us, that was in Georgia. And once they got there, they released all of them into this massive arena, and they get divvied up into all these different holding pens. So everybody can look at them and see which one they want to adopt. Once you adopt them, you have 100 days to train them, and then you're going to go back to that arena and compete. There's anywhere from 100 to 200 other contestants. Now, this is a very beginner-friendly competition. It's not, 100 days is not a lot of time, especially considering they are wild animals when you get them. Yeah, and so the expectation is pretty low. You're just worried about the fundamentals, the really simple basics. So once you go to the competition and you compete, they show how all the Mustangs did, and then they have an award ceremony, and then they host an auction. So for any of the trainers that would like to get rid of their Mustang, they can do that, or they can keep them. It's completely up to them to decide. But a lot of the trainers use that as a way to get rid of their Mustang, get a little bit of money back, take that money, adopt another Mustang, and then start that program over again. That way they're just constantly cycling these guys over and over and over and over again. Get them out of the wild and into that's how they're helping out the wild Mustangs. Do you have any questions? Comments? Stories? Jokes?
You told us to keep everything to ourselves, so.
That's a fair. No jokes? Nay? Nay, alright. Alright, we're gonna go meet the alarm system now, right over here. Alrighty, y'all. In here we have some donkeys. Donkeys are some of my favorite animals. I love them.
Alright, we're at the Highland cows on the tractor.
They won't bite you. That's what y'all don't understand. Look at that.
Oh, the baby one.
Oh my goodness. I don't have any more.
Alright, so we finished the farm tour. We're here in Plant City at the farm seeing the Highland cows. And I just want to stop off. Family's at the gift shop getting a few things from this farm that we're at here in Plant City. So basically, race recap. I want to start from the very beginning and work my way through each discipline of the sport, being the swim, bike, and the run. So we'll start off with the swim. So we get up at 5:30, I think it was, and it's always tough to try to figure out, like, oh, what time do I get up? Because transitions from 4:30 to 6:30, and technically it was till probably 7, because I think the last bus left at 7, and then they bus you 2.5 miles down the road to swim back to Ironman Village in downtown Chattanooga to start the bike leg. So let's go through the swim real quick. First and foremost, in your morning clothes bag, that does get dropped at the morning swim start. Then that way, if there's something that you need in there, because I was like, and I've done so many of these races, they all kind of start running together. I was like, do I like take an old pair of shoes? You know, do I need to get a jacket from Goodwill so I can throw it away? No, the morning clothes bag, now that I really understand it, is basically whatever you're wearing to the swim start line, like your shoes, if you're wearing a jacket because it's a little cold. If you decide not to wear your wetsuit, I found out that you could put that in your morning clothes bag. So very, very good observation, very good technique. Thank you, Ironman. So I had a Celsius in there, I had some protein in there, just something to get me started, you know, before the swim, because you have like an hour and a half before you go in the water. So if you get there at 6:30 and they don't start till 7:30, 7:45, that's an hour and 15 minutes. So I met this guy named Brian. He works for Delta, taking care of the planes, inside the planes. He's from Georgia. I think he said Carrollton, Georgia. Got to chill with him. Him and I talked back and forth for probably 30, 45 minutes. Got to know each other. Super chill guy. I had a Celsius and I felt so bad. I'm gonna bring another one next time. That's another thing. Your morning clothes bag, load it up with goodies because you're gonna be there for a little bit. even a sleeping bag. So if you want to get some rest, if you can, before the swim start. So yeah, Brian and I was having a good time, just talking, taking our mind off the race, you know, our long day ahead of us. And I took my Celsius. I go, dude, you want to split it? He goes, I'll waterfall it. I'm like, dude, go get a cup. And I poured some in there. I drank half, he drank half, and it was just a good way to help a fellow athlete. So jumped in the swim after, jumped down off the dock into the swim after waiting a good hour and 45 minutes because it was wetsuit optional. For some reason, it was 75.3, 0.3 over the wetsuit legal, I guess, if you will. So it was wetsuit optional, so all the wetsuiters got to go last. So next time, I got a little warm on the swim, so next time I'm gonna wear my swim skin that I got, which makes you a little faster in the water. Pretty interesting to try that. But I was also like, I had the security in my mind of the wetsuit. Nothing could happen. You're very buoyant. It's a very, very nice way to do a downriver swim. And I thought it was like 7-8 miles an hour. It was like 2 miles an hour. It was a little bit of help. There was a lot of PRs. A lot of it was you though, because you did the work. I did an hour and 6 on the swim. I was pretty happy about that. So once I jumped off the dock, 7:45, got back about 8:45 roughly, and got to the finish, climbed out the stairs. Now the way I did it is I went under the 3 or 4 bridges it was, tried to keep my focus in the center because I felt like in my mind that's where the current was at. So once I got to the steps, I kind of went to the left, and then I went to the last step and there was nobody there. The first 3 steps, there was always somebody there. So I'm like, all right, I'll take the last step. Went up as high as I could. A volunteer grabbed me. I was like, thank you so much, because you're a little like, I don't know, waterlogged, if you will, swimming in the water for an hour. It's not terrible, but you got to get your ground legs back. So jumped out of water, took off running. I did choose not to use the wetsuit peelers because I'm like, I'll just do it myself. I timed myself the night before, put the wetsuit on and off. It was like 30 seconds. I got ready at my bag, and the volunteer behind me is like, go to the tent, go to the tent, go to the tent. I go, no, I got this. So I got everything off and everything on for my biking, my jersey, everything that I needed. Had a tri-suit I wore all day. I got that, and then I ran to the tent, didn't need anything in the tent, ran out of the tent, found my bike, got the bike started. The bike was about 7 hours, 45 minutes, roughly like that. It was about a 15-mile-an-hour pace. It was, I'm gonna say, 7:45. It was a very, very hard course, 3 loops. And I was so into the race, I was like, man, I'm going to get into the air position and just go. And then I went and did the second loop, and then I did the third loop, and I'm like, I asked the guy, I was like, where do you finish this loop at? And it's when you go down this hill you're doing 50 miles an hour on. I'm like, oh, okay. So then my third loop, 50 mile an hour, just flying down this hill, and then you got about 2 miles to go. So that was like 110. When I seen 100, I was like, oh my God, 100, that's great. And then I got 10 to go, and then I got 110, and I had 2 to go, and it was 112. I'm like, oh, easy day. So you get back into town, it's downhill a little bit because you climbed going out to get to Highway 27. So it's definitely pretty exciting on the bike, hard day. If it would have been such a headwind, I think it'd have been a lot better for the athletes, but just the time of day and how late kind of everything got started due to the swim. Most swims, in my opinion, have been started at 7, not 7:45. So I don't know what their reasoning was behind that, but it just kind of prolonged everything. When I do a race, I get up front, get it started. I ain't waiting in the back. So got down to transition. They have bike catchers. I had someone catch my bike, and now you move on. I took my jersey off, kept my tri-suit on, and I finished the race in that. I didn't really need any running gear. So I finished that, and then when I finished the bike transition part, got everything ready to go, then I was able to swap out my bags and then just kind of sit down for a minute. I don't usually sit down, but it was a hard 112 at 7 hours and 45 minutes. You could imagine, almost 8 hours on a bike. It's very, very tough. So collect myself, had a Celsius at the halfway point on the bike, which gave me mental clarity. I was very thankful for that. Plenty of nutrition. Nutrition was on point. I think I weighed in at like 170, and I think I weighed at the beginning at like 172. So I lost like 2 pounds. I lost like no weight. I did really good on my nutrition. I was really, really pleased with that. Had a burrito on the bike, had a PB&J on the run. So I had food in me, and then I had a hamburger too also on the run. So definitely was getting that protein in. Had plenty of goos, lots of goos. So got off the bike transition. Now we're on to the run. Now we got 2 loops. I had about a 9-minute pace for the first 13. And then those hills just wrecked me in downtown Chattanooga by the golf course. I call it Heartbreak Hill because it will break your heart. It's always good to go up it and then do the loop, 3-mile loop they have you do, and then come back down it. And it is definitely one of the harder runs. Some flat spots too. And then the first 6 going out was pretty like flat, kind of downhill a little bit. So that wasn't terrible. So 4 miles down to Burger King, take a left, and then back up Riverfront running trail about 2 miles, and then that gives you the 6, and you head over to that neighborhood by the golf course I was telling you about and do your other 6, and then come back across this bridge and then start it all over again. So you kind of know what you're doing once you get done with the first loop. Didn't really encounter a whole lot of people on the run. Everybody was kind of quiet, kept to themselves. The run was like 4:45, I feel like 5 hours, something like that. So it's all said and done, sub 14. Not excited about that time, but it is a finish. It is one step closer to getting your ticket to Kona after you complete 12 races. I think I'm halfway there. So definitely a challenging day. Thank the family first and foremost. Thank all the volunteers, everybody that came out there. I'm gonna post this as soon as I get this clipped up and ready to go. And then you get to see some cows too along the way. So it was a pretty interesting day. I was really thankful about how everything went. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next adventure. That Triathlon Life.